You go camping to get away from it all, right? To trade the city noise for the crackle of a fire and the suffocating glow of streetlights for the clean, sharp pinpricks of stars. It's supposed to be a reset, a chance to breathe. But sometimes, when you leave the woods, you bring something back with you. Something that can't just be left behind. The trip itself was perfect. Just me, my tent, and a sky so clear you could almost fall into it. I spent days hiking, reading by the fire, just being quiet. The silence was a comfort. I felt recharged, ready to head back to the real world. The hike back to my car was long, but my legs felt strong, my mind clear. I drove home with the windows down, feeling renewed. That feeling lasted until the first night. I was getting ready for bed, pulling the blinds shut, when I saw him. A tall silhouette, standing perfectly still under the pale orange glow of the streetlight across the road. Just standing there. It was unsettling, but I brushed it off. Probably just a neighbor out for a late walk. I went to sleep. The next night, I saw him again. This time, he was in my neighbor's backyard, partially obscured by their oak tree. Same stillness, same unnerving presence. I told myself I was tired, my mind playing tricks on me. It's amazing what you can convince yourself of when the truth is too strange to accept. But a pattern started to form. He was always there at dusk, always standing still, watching. He'd be at the end of the block when I left for work in the morning. I did catch his shape in the reflection of a storefront window as I walked to get lunch. I saw him once in a crowd at the farmer's market, his statue among the river of people. He never got closer, never made a move, never spoke. He was just there, always at the edge of my vision, a constant, silent observer. The feeling of being watched became a permanent part of my life, a low hum of anxiety I couldn't switch off. My home stopped feeling safe. It felt like a fishbowl. I started setting traps. I bought smart lights that would flood the yard with brightness at the slightest movement. I installed security cameras, pointing them at every angle where I'd seen him. I needed proof. I needed to know I wasn't losing my mind. The first few nights, the cameras caught nothing. Just the wind rustling leaves, a stray cat wandering through. I started to think, maybe I was just stressed. Then, one night, the motion alert went off. I scrambled to check the footage. At first, it was just static. A burst of digital snow that lasted a few seconds. Then, the image cleared, and for a split second, there was a blur of movement. I replayed it over and over, slowing it down frame by frame. And then I saw it. It wasn't just a blur. It was a figure. And it looked wrong. Distorted. The face was there for just a single frame, but it looked like a mask. A poorly made mask of someone I didn't know. The footage cut out right after that. Just went black. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a trick of the light. This was real. As the days bled into weeks, something even stranger started to happen. The figure began to feel familiar. I'd see him from my window, and the way he stood, slightly slouched with his weight on one leg, was exactly how my father stands. Then, one evening, I caught a glimpse of him from the side, and the way he tilted his head was the exact same curious gesture my best friend makes when she is listening intently. It was like he was collecting mannerisms, borrowing pieces of the people I knew. The world outside my home started to warp, too. People I'd see on the street would do a double take when they saw him standing in the distance. A woman at the coffee shop once gestured vaguely in his direction and said to me, "Haven't I seen that guy before? He looks so familiar." But she said it with a genuine, pleasant confusion, as if she was trying to place an old acquaintance. They weren't seeing a terrifying shadow. They were seeing someone they thought they knew. Sleep became a battlefield. I jolt awake in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, heart hammering against my ribs. The line between dream and reality dissolved. I'd see him in my room, not standing in a corner, but sitting at the foot of my bed. I couldn't see his face in the dark, but I could hear him. A slow, steady, rhythmic breathing that was just slightly out of sync with my own. It wasn't the sound of a monster. It was the calm, quiet breathing of someone who felt they belonged there. I'd lie there, paralyzed, not daring to move, until the first light of dawn would make him fade away. I couldn't live like that anymore. The constant fear, the sleepless nights, the feeling of my own sanity fraying at the edges. One night, I saw him standing in my own backyard, his silhouette framed by the kitchen window. Enough was enough. I had to confront him. I grabbed the heaviest thing I could find, a cast-iron skillet, and flung the back door open. My heart was a drum in my ears, but I was fueled by a desperate, final surge of adrenaline. "Who are you? What do you want?" I yelled, my voice shaking. He didn't move at first. Then, slowly, he turned to face me. And that's when the terror truly hit. It wasn't just a single face. It was a patchwork. My mother's eyes, my brother's smile, the shape of my friend's jaw, the wrinkles from my father's brow, all sewn together like dried, brittle leaves. It was everyone I loved, twisted into one impossible, horrifying mosaic. His mouth, a collage of lips I knew so well, moved, and a voice that was a chorus of all their voices whispered, "I followed you home because you called me." And just like that, I remembered. Back in the woods on the last night, sitting by the fire, feeling that pang of loneliness that sometimes hits you even in the most beautiful places. I had whispered it into the darkness, half joking, half serious. I wish I didn't have to go back alone. A simple, foolish, lonely wish. And something in the woods had heard. Something that answers loneliness not with companionship, but with a terrifying imitation of it. It doesn't create love. It borrows the faces of it. The final blow came a few days later. I was looking at a recent photo of my friends and me from before the camping trip. I was trying to remind myself of what was real. But as I stared at the picture, I noticed it. Their faces were all subtly wrong. My friend's smile didn't quite reach her eyes. My brother's expression seemed a little hollow. It was almost imperceptible, but I could see it. He had taken a piece of each of them, a little bit of their light, to build his own form. So be careful what you wish for in the dark. Be careful with your loneliness, because what follows you home might not be a monster with claws and fangs. It might wear a familiar smile. It might look just like love. And sometimes, the most terrifying company is the one that convinces you you're no longer alone. If this story gave you chills, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more. And let us know in the comments, who would you trust if the person at your door looked like everyone you know?